Thank you for joining us for the September 29th special meeting of this Fortuna City Council. If you'll silence your electronic devices and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll start the meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we get a roll call?
Councilmember Conley?
Present.
Councilmember Diaz?
Here.
Councilmember Stevens?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent?
Here.
And Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our first item this evening is oral comments from the public, and we do have a letter from the Stores Company, and their letter is going to be in the record. It's noted on the agenda. And if there are any oral comments for items not on the agenda this evening. And I see none. So we'll move on to City Council business. Is there someone online? Okay. Anyway, our first item of business is the consideration of an urgency ordinance creating temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces in the city of Fortuna.
All right. Thank you, Mayor and council members. This evening, as directed by your city council, staff have brought an urgency ordinance creating a temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces in the city of Fortuna. Just as a reminder of how we came to be here, here is a timeline of events. In early July, the City Council began receiving communication from Royal Crest mobile home residents about unaffordable mobile home space rent increases. On July 17th, city staff met with residents of Royal Crest to hear their concerns about increasingly unaffordable rent increases. July 21st, Save Our Seniors made public comment and made a request for a mobile home rent stabilization ordinance at the Fortuna City Council meeting that day. The City Council, during future agenda items, directed staff to return with information on the rent stabilization ordinance. On August 28th, city staff met with representatives from Stores Management. On September 15th, the City Council held a study session on mobile home rent stabilization, and City Council directed staff to return with a temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces. September 24th, the City Council held a closed session due to significant exposure to litigation due to assertions by the owners of Royal Crest Mobile Estates. And today, September 29th, the City Council is set to review urgency ordinance creating a temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces. The purpose of an urgency ordinance is to place a temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces to preserve housing status for vulnerable populations and affordable housing for the community while staff further investigate and develop a permanent mobile home rent stabilization ordinance. Temporarily pausing rent increases on mobile home spaces until April 30th, 2026, as stated in the ordinance, or the effective date of a mobile home rent stabilization ordinance will prevent an undue rush on rent increases on mobile home spaces before the effective date of an ordinance that will be designed to protect mobile home space tenants. Such rushed increases could defeat the purpose of rent stabilization.
I just got a text that said there's no sound on Zoom.
No sound on Zoom.
Looks like the city may be on mute.
Hold for intermission. Do we? They chatted on Zoom. Can they hear us now?
Yes.
They can hear us now. Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to continue on in the presentation because we're just at the purpose. Rushed rent increases from property owners could defeat the purpose of a rent stabilization ordinance or defer its benefits for years. Adoption of this ordinance on an urgency basis is necessary to preserve the public peace, health, and safety of the residents, businesses, and property owners of the city. The findings that constitute the basis for the urgency and the need for a temporary moratorium include all of the items listed on the slides, but a few of them are mobile home parks provide an important alternative form of housing. A significant majority of the residents of mobile home parks in the city are older individuals or couple living on fixed income. Nearly all mobile home park residents own and occupy their mobile home and have made a substantial investment to live in the mobile home park. And residents of a mobile home park have very limited mobility due to the impracticality of relocating a mobile home. A number of residents of mobile home parks in the city have expressed the concern that they could become homeless if mobile home park owners continue to impose significant rent increases. Temporarily pausing space rent increases will prevent, again, rush space rent increases before adoption of regulations to stabilize mobile home space rents. For these reasons, an urgency ordinance can be adopted. Tonight, your city council will consider an urgency ordinance creating a temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces in the city of Fortuna. If the moratorium on mobile home space rent increases is adopted this evening, staff will return before April 30th, 2026 with a draft mobile home rent stabilization ordinance. So your recommended action tonight is to approve the urgency ordinance that's in your packet, creating a temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces in the city of Fortuna until April 30th, 2026, or the effective date of a permanent mobile home rent stabilization ordinance, and a determination of exemption of the urgency ordinance from CEQA. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, does any of the council members have a question regarding this? Well, we'll open this item for public comment. And
Hello, Mayor and council members. My name is Cecilia Holland. I want to talk about equity, the very thing seniors have worked their whole lives for. In mobile home parks, space rent is directly tied to home value. That is devastating for seniors on fixed incomes who cannot replace that lost value. At Royal Crest, rents have risen almost 100%, 100% since 2012, outpacing inflation, stripping residents of tens of thousands of dollars in equity. Imagine saving for decades, only to see the value of your home eroded in a few short years, not because of the market, because of unchecked rent increases. The temporary moratorium on rent increases you are considering tonight fixes this temporarily while ensuring fairness. That protects everyone. Council members, this is about dignity. Seniors should not be forced to choose between heat, medicine, and keeping their homes. This pause preserves stability while you finalize a fair, permanent, enforceable framework. I respectfully ask you to adopt the temporary moratorium on rent increases, including no pass-through owner expenses tonight. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Deborah Thomas, and I live at the Royal Crest Mobile Home Estates. We've heard about temporary rent assistance programs like MHET, but these are Band-Aids on a deep wound. They cover only a handful of residents, at most about 10 out of the over 200 families, and even then, there's likely no more than 5 that could qualify in Royal Crest, and only for a short time. The majority remain unprotected, still subject to unaffordable increases. In addition, for those who do not qualify for those unattainable funding resources and are forced to vacate their homes, corporations like stores further benefit by obtaining their homes and reselling them for a higher profit. We have one they just got that they're selling for $210,000.
Okay, we
These
need to-
programs do not stop the root problem, skyrocketing rents. They leave us scrambling for aid while park owners continue to raise rents unchecked. Worse, they depend on outside funding that can vanish at any time. That's not stability, that's false hope. The temporary moratorium on rent increases before you allow for development of an RSO. It's systematic, enforceable, and fair. It provides certainty for residents and ensures owners continue to receive a fair return. It prevents race to rise, rent hikes that could otherwise occur before permanent rules are finalized. We don't need temporary charity. We need structural fairness, and tonight you can provide it. I respectfully ask you to adopt the temporary moratorium on rent increase, including the no pass-through owner expenses tonight. Thank you.
So, my name is Lana Craig, and I am a Royal Crest resident. Thank you all for going this far with us, the board members, Amy Nilsson especially for doing all the research and time-consuming meetings and so forth. Thank you for Attorney Plotz for being here, and Millie in place of Sienna. Thank you all. We know you are listening and hearing us, and we appreciate you for letting us speak. Our SOS group is more than a few elders that you see here. The SOS group stands for seniors in Fortuna and really throughout America who are being forced out of their homes in these difficult times, and perhaps ending up on the street or lost in some crowded shelter. The short moratorium and the RSO will not recoup the last 4 years of over 20% rent increases, but it will be a large, welcome, and most appreciated respite to the gnawing, constant fear of this happening again. As the roads diverge, it's up to each of us which road we choose. We hope you will choose the moratorium and vote yes for the RSO when that time comes. Thank you for your time, your energy, your efforts, and again, thank you, Amy Nilsson, for all your meetings and research. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is my neighbor, Rosemarie Weisner. She's 94. She couldn't be here because, like so many of the people at the park, they're disabled and old, and quite frankly, she's getting ready for bed right now. She said, I don't do anything after 4 o'clock. I don't go anywhere. Just wanted you to meet her. Is there anybody here, can I ask, that is unconvinced about how they're going to vote today? Do you need me to tell you more, is what I'm asking you? Are you sure? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stevens, for replying to me. I appreciate it. My name is Ann Lawton. Again, thank you so much. I am a resident of Royal Crest.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Ricardo, and I live at Royal Crest. You've heard the argument that a memorandum of understanding could be a solution. But let's be honest, an MOU is a promise. A rent stabilization ordinance is protection. An MOU can be rewritten at any time by the park owner. It has no enforcement mechanism. It does not guarantee caps or on increases, nor does it put limits on pass-through charges or a restriction on one increase per year. In short, it leaves all the power in the hands of the very people who have already raised rents without restraint. Our homes cannot be moved. We cannot shop around for a better deal. Without a binding law, we have no stability, no security, and no recourse. A RSO, even a temporary moratorium leading to one, creates balance. It ensures fair return for owners, but stability for residents. It gives this council, not out-of-town corporations, the authority to safeguard Fortuna seniors and families. Please don't give us a promise. Give us protection. Please don't give us a handshake. Give us a law. I respectfully ask you to adopt the temporary moratorium on rent increases, including no pass-through owner expenses, tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for your service here tonight. My name is Ron Durer, and I live at Royal Crest Mobile Estates. Tonight, I urge you to take the most balanced and responsible step available, a temporary moratorium on rent increases. This pause is narrow, time-limited, and specifically designed to protect vulnerable seniors and families while you complete the thoughtful work of establishing long-term rent stabilization ordinance. Other communities like Sonoma County in 2023 did exactly this. They paused rent hikes while they worked on a permanent framework. The result was a breathing room period. No one was forced out during the policy process, and no last-minute rent spikes undermined the future ordinance. The proposal before you is equally balanced. It sunsets by April 30th, 2026, or sooner if a rent stabilization ordinance is adopted. This protects both residents and owners. So, council members, this moratorium is not radical. It is careful, legal, and financially planned for. It's a seatbelt while you finish building the car. I respectfully ask you to adopt the temporary moratorium rent increases tonight. And as a side note, I was helping pass out notices for this meeting tonight, and I noticed from this meeting to the meeting before, there was one household that told me that they were trying to stay in, that stores was foreclosing on them, and that they were a little bit behind on rent. They kept trying to make the payments. That house is empty as of when I posted the notice. There was another fellow, 82-year-old fellow named Phil, lived about a half block up the Crest Drive there. He'd lived there quite a few years, and when I talked to him, he had trouble paying the rent and making medical expenses, and the coroner picked him up midweek. So there are people that are actually having to choose between possible medical operations or paying the rent, buying food or paying the rent, getting their doggy taken care of at the pet place or paying the rent. So this is critical to a lot of people living here, particularly the long-termers that thought they moved in, rent was great, and they live here forever. Well, stores just replaces them with new people that look like they got plenty of money to ask them 20 years from now. And, you know, I've had lots of money in my life, too, like you people, some of you do. And I ended up in stores management. So things change in our lives. So just keep watching out for your local voters and citizens. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Can I talk twice? I just want you to know that they evict you, you can't
Mayor.
pay your rent,
Okay,
and they take your house.
okay. You brought that up
And you
earlier.
can't sell it because the rent is too expensive.
Mayor, I'd like to point out that you have 2 online public commenters.
Okay, well, let's bring them on.
Millie, will you let me know who you're unmuting? Andrew, you will be unmuted and you can go ahead. You will have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I've been there in person to speak in favor of the rent stabilization ordinance, and now I'm coming to speak in favor of the temporary moratorium on rent increases. Thank you all for the time that you're devoting to this, for taking it seriously, for hearing everybody out tonight. I think it's wonderful that Royal Crest seniors have got this far. I applaud them for all the research that they've done, that they've presented to you guys. And I think now it's clear you guys have a choice, and you can choose now to adopt the moratorium on rent increases and grant material benefit to seniors in your very own community. And I think not adopting it would be affirming property rights of billionaire giants who don't even live in the community and who are just pulling out money from the community, millions of dollars a year, at the expense of senior citizens. So please make the right choice tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lev, you're unmuted. You can go ahead.
Hello, my name is Lev. I'm calling in from Arcata. I'm a member of Humboldt Tenants Union, fighting on behalf of renters and mobile home owners throughout the county. I want to address SOS. The level of self-organization and mobilization you all have demonstrated is so impressive. I want you to know that you've shown real power. The research you all have shared has been super thorough and informative. I've been humbled by your level of efficacy, and I feel grateful that I had the chance to meet several of you when I spoke a few weeks ago. City Council, I think the seniors who are here have said it best. I won't belabor the arguments that others have already made so eloquently. I think you know what is the right thing to do. Please pass the moratorium and do the right thing for hundreds of your constituents. Thank you.
Billy, can you unmute Michelle Bushnell? Michelle, you can speak.
Can I confirm you guys can hear me?
We can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to address the council and tell you guys that I know that you have had a lot to do with this, and that you guys have done your homework and have listened to your constituents. To Amy, the city manager, you have done so much investigating and done so many meetings and really thoroughly worked through the process. It's very scary for people when they, own their home and they get into a space and they think that space is going to be set or have small increases. I know that this is a hard decision for the council, but it's terrifying for your senior community that lives at Royal Crest. And I'm just grateful that you all did your investigating and look forward to your decision this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan C., you will be unmuted and you will be able to speak. There you go. Oh, you had it.
Okay, I think I unmuted while you unmuted and it muted. I'm learning how to use Zoom through a bunch of different platforms, but I want to thank whoever with IT made this available. I think it's an essential part of government to allow people to participate without driving, or if they're not feeling well, or anything else. And tonight, you're actually competing with a lot of other events. So I'm impressed that there's a big turnout in person, and also that you took the time to hear everybody you should have in person, and those of us who are speaking up online. While they debate world peace or throw out a proposal that's unilateral, you're being asked to, on a local, micro-local level, to affect people's lives directly where you live. And the crime of almost displacement of people who are owners of their homes and senior in this point of life is something that that it needs to and is being addressed here. And it's grateful that you're likely to listen to I realized who was here when I used Zoom and I'm really glad Michelle spoke so eloquently in representing not only her constituents, but her actual family. And it's an easy decision. It should go the right way. And I have complete confidence that you will represent your constituents' morality and public decency by doing the right thing. And I'm so happy to participate in this manner.
Thank you. Is that
That's the end of the online public comment.
and we've reached the end of the closing public comment for in-person. And at this time, we're at a point of a motion or not a motion. It's up to-
Make a motion to approve an urgency ordinance creating a temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces in the city of Fortuna until April 30th, 2026, or effective date of a mobile home rent stabilization ordinance and determination of an exemption of the urgency ordinance from the California Environmental Quality Act.
Second.
Councilmember Conley, can I just confirm that that's reading by title only as well?
And read by title only.
Thank you.
And can I make a comment before we vote?
What's that?
I was just wondering if I could make a comment before we vote.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I think I'm probably inclined not to vote for the moratorium. Just want to reiterate that it's not because I don't sympathize with all the seniors. I think they are fighting for their livelihood and their quality of life and everything. I think just the process, I would have liked to have seen a good faith effort to try and negotiate with the management company. I know you guys have probably a good reason to be skeptical of whether that would, well.
They don't listen. They have 52 of these cars.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
in any case, so I think my decision is not based on, that, but more the process and not at least giving them the opportunity to negotiate.
Okay, well, we do have a motion and a second before us. So, all in favor?
Mayor Johnson, before we do that, it will need to be a roll call vote. We'll need to read the title before we go to that portion. No, thank you.
Councilmember Conley moved, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Trent, to adopt ordinance 2025-776, an ordinance of the City Council of City of Fortuna to impose a temporary moratorium on rent increases on mobile home spaces in the City of Fortuna until the earlier of April 30th, 2026, or the repeal of this ordinance and determining the ordinance to be exempt from CEQA. Roll call vote. Councilmember Conley?
Aye.
Councilmember Diaz?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And Mayor Johnson?
Yes. It
So the
is-
motion passes.
So it is affirmed. Trying to drag this out of the way here. So with that,
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you.